Is Saint-Estephe wine better than Margaux, Saint-Emilion, Saint-Julien, Pauillac, Pomerol and other wine appellations in Bordeaux? What makes it special, even more unique as a wine? What do I think about them as well? Hello and bonjour dear wine enthusiasts, and welcome to your new wine video. Today I want to continue our exploration with you of the best Bordeaux wines and find out which are the best value ones and understand them deeper and better. And I want to take you to a little village that is very dear to my heart. Fantastic memories from there, and that of course makes delicious wines punchy, characterful, refined, age-worthy. The most important things you need to know about St Estephe. Let's go. Saint Estephe wine region is located in the Médoc sub-region of Bordeaux to the north. It is the northernmost of the 6 communal appellations, the 6 wine villages if you wish in Médoc, and it takes its name from the commune of St Estephe, that little village. The region is known for producing red wines based on Bordeaux blend, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, with some additions of Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot sometimes. Saint Estephe, the village, is situated at the real northern end of the Haut-Médoc region, just south of the Médoc. The region lies on the gravelly western shore of the Gironde estuary, the Gironde River, therefore on the left bank, separated from its famed southern neighbor Pauillac only by a little stream, a little river. With 1,229 hectares, that's 3,000 acres, give it or take, Saint Estephe accounts for 8% of the vineyards area of the wider Médoc, or about 585,000 cases of wine. The soil in Saint Estephe is far less stony, less gravelly than found in the southern part of Haut-Médoc, less sand as well. Closer to the Bordeaux city, you got a bit more gravels and sand. Instead, you have in Saint Estephe a heavier clay and limestone base that dominates the area, resulting in some sort of poorer draining soils, delayed ripening, a bit of a cooler soil there, higher acidity levels in the wines as well. These factors mean that over the last few decades, many Saint Estèphe's winemakers and producers have increased their emphasis on Merlot, as opposed to Cabernet Sauvignon, as it performs better on clay-rich soils than Cabernet Sauvignon. Because wines from here have traditionally been rather austere and a bit tight in your mouth, Merlot has also served to soften up the texture of Saint Estephe. Saint Estephe is known for its red wines. There are quite a lot of white wines and rosés produced in Bordeaux, not in the appellation of Saint Estephe. The wines are richly colored, always quite deeply flavored as well, and they're known for their longevity. The appellation produces structured, tannic, long-lived wines of great finesse. Saint Estephe has held AOC recognition. The appellation of Saint Estephe was created in 1936, one of the very first ones to be recognized in France. 5 classified growth of 1855, 5 Bordeaux Grand Cru Classés in 1855 are located within the appellation of Saint Estephe area. These include 2 second growths Chateau Cos d'Estournel, and I do, if that's not going to make a mess, I do have a nice wine from Chateau Cos d'Estournel right here, and Chateau Montrose, both highly regarded estates. The third growth, Chateau Calon Ségur, fourth growth is Chateau Lafont Rocher, and fifth growth is Chateau Cos Laborie. Many wines here are produced under the Cru Bourgeois designation as well. And now the whole important question, is Saint-Estèphe wine better than Margaux, Saint-Emilion, Saint-Julien, Pauillac, Pomerol and other wine appellations in Bordeaux? Or in other words, what's Saint-Estèphe place in Bordeaux? What makes it special, even more unique as a wine? What do I think about them as well? Let's go through. Well, if the 1855 classification of the wines of Médoc is anything to go by, Saint-Estèphe is not the champion. There is no first growth here, as we've talked about. Cos d'Estournel is probably just as good as the Mouton Rothschild and Lafite or Chateau Margaux, if you ask me, but Napoleon and his subjects at the time ranked it only as a second growth. Same goes with Chateau Montrose, the second growth of Saint-Estèphe and the other star winery there. Pauillac and Margaux have many more classified Grand Crus than Saint-Estèphe overall, but that's based on the quality of wines 170 years ago or so. What about today? Well, as we said earlier, Saint-Estèphe wines are grown from soils that have a little more clay and limestone, a little bit denser soil in them, so often a little more Merlot in the blends, while Pauillac and Margaux are clearly more focused on Cabernet Sauvignon, a purer expression of Cabernet Sauvignon. In this regard, Saint-Estèphe is somewhat of the Saint-Emilion of the left bank, if that makes any sense, and if I may dare the comparison, somewhat of a hybrid style, and that makes it quite unique and in and of itself. Pomerol is just a completely different beast because it's generally close to 100% Merlot on really dense pure clay soil, so Pomerol, it's totally different, but you can place Saint-Estèphe compared to the rest of the Médoc and Saint-Emilion as well. You can see some similarities, and I hope I've highlighted some here. Secondly, in Médoc I find Saint-Estèphe wines a little more raw, a little more rustic and austere in a way, but here that's actually a good thing. That's something that I personally love about them, the expression, the rawness, the character. Pauillac is all about huge density and power of Cabernet, really big, while Margaux is all about the finesse and the floral expression. If they were sportsmen or sportswomen, Pauillac would be the rugby or American football player, really big, bulky, but skillful. Margaux would be the ballerina or the ballet dancer, while Saint-Estèphe would be an athlete competing in athletics, decathlon or 100-meter sprint. Not that big, not that elegant either, but incredibly skilled nonetheless. I know it's a bit of another daring comparison, but I'm just trying to give you, strings to pull to understand it really well. As a result of this style that is harder to kind of describe simply to fit in a box, Saint-Estèphe wines haven't reached as stellar a reputation as Pauillac or Margaux or even some chateaux of Saint-Emilion or Pomerol. Saint-Estèphe is more multifaceted, which becomes an advantage when it comes to finding good value wines. Many producers in Saint-Estèphe are still quite small because they can sell their wines well enough to survive as a small winery, but they can't make as much money as some of the big chateaux of top appellations, so that they don't become huge and unreachable in prices. There are many gems to be found in Saint-Estèphe if you dig, and if you ask me, wines that are quite affordable, $15, $20, $25, but extremely good. Fantastic examples of delicious Bordeaux. There is also a pretty good cooperative winery in St Estephe that is quite significant in the appellation, which makes nice, affordable wines, but serious wines, and which helps maintaining a network of small vine growers around the village, even in this rather remote northern part of the Bordeaux region. So it's notable that there is a good cooperative winery in St Estephe, and I think it's important. When you drink Saint Estephe wines, you'll find that because of this relative rawness of the wines, especially when they're young, Saint Estephe benefit from aging a little bit, generally about 10 years, so they soften up a bit, they really become super interesting, deep and complex. So if you're patient enough to wait for, say, at least 7 or 8 years, depending on the vintage, from Saint Estephe you can get all the depth and the complexity of a matured Bordeaux wine, fantastic power, but also refined without paying the super premium price tag that would come from a really good Pauillac or a Margaux. Saint Estephe overall as an appellation is way more consistent as well and reliable than Saint-Emilion, which is way more diverse in terroir, quality and price. Saint Estephe is virtually always to a really good standard. So really Saint Estephe is clearly a contender to be qualified as one of the very best appellations of Bordeaux, maybe not the one providing the ultimate peaks of quality or prices, but when it comes to character, age-worthiness, because they're solid, they age so well, serious value, solid power united with excellent finesse, still, and more importantly, the combination of all these factors. Not that many appellations have all of those put together, while Saint Estephe wines are hard to beat. In fact, overall, if you ask me. Last week we talked about the wines from the Grave, which I also think are fantastic to know more about, but in a slightly different style, so I suggest you watch this video next if you want to learn more about them and continue our tour of Bordeaux. And here's a playlist to learn more, ever more about your vino. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine. As always, cheers.